September and October, the state received $7,940,753 in tax revenue from sports wagering. That money will support the oversight of sports wagering, establish a problem gambling fund, and primarily help Kentucky's pension systems. Director of Sports Wagering Hans Stokey says sports betting performed well in September too.
Preliminary reporting for November shows this trend continuing as Kentucky patrons wagered more than $260 million with a peak activity occurring through the Thanksgiving holiday, which generated a $73 million total handle.
Writer and analyst for BetKentucky.com, Steve Bittenbender, says this makes sense as we're in the heart of the NFL season.
This is going to be the peak time where sports betting is going to ramp up.
He predicts Kentucky will follow the trends we've seen in other states like Tennessee and Indiana, with a gradual uptick in sports betting in the coming years.
I think as long as, everything stays around the same, then we should expect those sports betting numbers to go up some for the next few years as more people get interested and engaged in the sports betting products here in the state.
And Governor Beshear is also predicting numbers will continue to grow.
It is an incredible start. And if it continues, we will significantly exceed the $23 million in projected revenue from sports wagering.
In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.